where my personal history intersects with this. So I'm a minister in a fellowship called the Assemblies of God. We're not a denomination, we're a fellowship. And one of the things that was pretty important in the beginning of our fellowship, over 120 years ago or something, was the fact that our fellowship is very egalitarian. And this was from very early on. That what I mean by that is women can be in ministry. Now I know that there's a lot of groups, denominations, all kinds of things and they base this on a lot of things. Some of it's theological. I have debated this with some of the strongest theologians in the country, that I believe theologically women can be in ministry. My grandmother was a pastor in the 1940s here in Colorado. That is, specifically at that time, that was a big one, right? So my wife is ordained. That was something she's only done in the last few years. I've been begging her for 35. She finally did that. I believe very strongly in the equality of women. I don't couch this in any of my conversations in ministry or anything else. I believe that women were created equal. The example that was given earlier was that God took a rib from Adam and he made Eve. He could have taken a bone from the head and women would have walked over men. He could have taken a bone from the foot and men would have walked over women. But he took a bone that protects the heart, protects the innermost of a man, and he creates woman to walk right beside him, but also be a protector in a way that sometimes we lose in modern understanding of culture. One of the things that I think was left out of this, I would have put a different whereas. I didn't want to present this as an amendment, but on page 2, line 11, it says, whereas women and girls contribute to every sector of society, I believe strongly that's true, and deserve to have their rights and opportunities protected and enhanced. I believe this strongly. And then the next few words, regardless of their race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic background. I believe strongly, regardless of race, ethnicity, socioeconomic background. But I believe the terminology sexual orientation or gender identity directly attacks the resolution. This resolution is about women, not about men. It's about women. It's not about somebody choosing something. It's about women. We know that the scripture was just quoted by our Democrat colleague and by myself, that God created woman. In fact, the way she said that, I've used that in many sermons, that Adam said, whoa, man, this is amazing. But that's a woman. And we know what a woman is. Science tells us that. And so that part I struggle with, to say that we want to make sure that they succeed, women succeed, but then we directly say, but we're going to include other groups in there. And that's why I think there should have been another whereas, which is Title IX. It was seemingly left out of this, and Title IX was enacted in 1972. It prohibited sex-based discrimination in federally funded Colorado education, profoundly reshaping collegiate athletes and addressing campus sexual misconduct. Key milestones include a 1973 shower protest for women's locker rooms at Colorado College, right here in our state. A 1993 Roberts versus Colorado State University lawsuit, which protected women's athletic programs. Following the 1972 federal law, Colorado institutions began the slow progress of compliance. In 1973, female students in Colorado College demanded that they have the same rights with facilities and everything else. Women's soccer began in varsity sports there in 1978. Title IX, girls had the right, this happened in my lifetime, I was born in 1970. Girls have the right to sports, to have girls' sports. They have the right to have their own. They were excluded from this. They were kept out. Just because of one reason, they were women. We finally got that starting in the early 70s. We finally got this fixed in our country, the same as suffrage, same as any other right of a woman to be able to go into any setting, because I do believe women are equal to men. And so this is one of the things that this resolution says we should be protecting. I would love to see, instead of sexual orientation and gender identity, I'd love to see sports put there. Because women have a right to have their sports against other women, against other girls. I think that may be coming to committee today. Throughout history, women, this is the resolution, women have fought tirelessly for equal rights, justice, recognition in sports also. Having overcome systemic obstacles, prejudice, inequality, to create lasting social change and the ability to have sports. Why is that not included in this resolution? Women fought for decades and decades for Title IX. It's one of the strongest things after suffrage that our country did for women. It should be in that order: suffrage, Title IX. Why is Title IX not in this resolution? It seems grossly missing. But we'll have a chance later. I will be reading this later today, and we'll have a chance to fix that. I cannot vote for this resolution as long as sexual orientation and gender identity is in it.
Representative DeGraff.